CRUSE is our app for patients with chronic spontaneous urticaria, and CRUSE stands for Chronic Urticaria Self-Evaluation. So it's an app for patients to monitor their condition and also for us as physicians to see how our patients are doing.
So hello everybody, my name is Professor Thorsten Zuberbier, President of Galen, the Global Allergy and Asthma Excellence Network, our worldwide network working also in the field of urticaria with the so-called UCARE sub-network for urticaria centers of reference and excellence. And I'm here with Sophia Neisinger. Sophia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks a lot, Thorsten, for the invitation to join you on the podcast episode today. I'm Sophia. I'm a physician in your team in Berlin, and I also run one of the UCare tools called CRUSE.
And that's the topic for today. CRUSE. Well, CRUSE, was that just sitting in a car, running around and having fun? What's CRUSE?
CRUSE is our app for patients with chronic spontaneous urticaria, and CRUSE stands for Chronic Urticaria Self-Evaluation. So it's an app for patients to monitor their condition and also for us as physicians to see how our patients are doing. It's for free. It's available around the world, and we launched it in the beginning of 2022. And you know, Thorsten, I just looked something up. We had an podcast episode actually on CRUSE, but before we launched, and I have to say a lot has happened. This was episode 35. So if someone wants to go back in time, this was when we had our first podcast episode on CRUSE, but now a lot has happened since then. And yeah,
Thank you,
go into it.
Sophia. Actually, pardon me, I also may lose track. We've got so many podcasts now running and it's fascinating. But CRUSE is really a wonderful baby of UCare and actually yourself. But the one thing you said, it's for free. That's great. But it's not only for free because it actually brings value both to the patient using it, but also to all the patients, because with CRUSE, we can collect research data, can improve our knowledge. Would you like to elucidate a bit more about that?
Absolutely. So normally, if we want to get data from our patients, we start either projects within our clinic, but this is normally, we do that with every single clinic on its own. But for the first time with CRUSE, we have the chance to get data from our patients actually in real time worldwide. So I can see how patients in Argentina are doing, in Canada are doing, and of course also in Germany. And now we have way over 200,000 documented days of patients with chronic spontaneous urticaria. And with this data, we can hopefully in the future answer many more unanswered questions.
Yeah, but just one important aspect, just to mention that you can see data from Argentina, but we have data protection 100% sure. So you don't know the individual, you don't know the phone number and the address and the weight and all these anonymized data. That's what we get, but that's what we need. But there's also one other beauty. You, as a patient, using CRUSE, I think you can give the personal data to your physician. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is right, Thorsten. So if you as a patient are using CRUSE, it probably takes you 1 minute every day to fill out these questions. Just for you to know these questions, those are validated questions, such as the Urticaria Activity Score, for instance, or the Urticaria Control Test. Then you have a results screen, and there you see how you are doing with your urticaria, if you have wheals, if you have angioedema, and then you can send a report via email, for instance, or via QR code to your treating physician. We do that in the clinic the day before our patients come in. So you just send it via email, and then your physician already knows how you are doing.
Wonderful. But one more word. If we want to do research, and I think you will give us a little bit of the results of our knowledge now, why it was so important. There is one aspect that's very important for the patient. We need to ask the patients really to put in the data continuously, because if we have missing days, it's always difficult to tell. Some patients only put it in if it's bad, No, we really would appreciate everybody hearing us now, everybody mentioning CRUSE out in the world. If you're a doctor to your patients, ask them to do us the favor, put in every day. That helps. What is the most fascinating? What can we tell with these data sets? There are so many now.
Yes, just to the point back what you just said, Torsten, this is so important. We really need you to continuously use CRUSE, especially when you feel good. You might think, well, I feel good, my treatment works. Why do I need to fill out those questions? Well, this is so important for us to know that your treatment works and that you do not have any symptoms anymore. So thanks a lot for pointing this out, Torsten. Yes. A lot of interesting data that comes from CRUSE. When we take a look at the big data set, it's what we know already. We have many more female patients that have chronic spontaneous urticaria. And what we see and what is very interesting is the differences when it comes to treatment around the world. We have in all the different countries around the world, of course, different access to treatment. Yes, so not in every country we have access to our second line treatment. And this is something that we see within the CRUSE data right now. Another important point, something that that I previously already showed in on a congress, is that we have also still way too many patients using long-term corticosteroids for their chronic spontaneous urticaria.
Yeah, I think this is a very important message. We couldn't say too often, please do not use internal corticosteroids, systemic corticosteroids. They have really, really unwanted adverse events. People get Cushing syndrome, people get other problems, and we don't want that. We have better medication. I do know that there are some financial constraints in many countries, but still with the older drugs, even normally you can really avoid taking the corticosteroid. So in fact, if you yourself as a patient use that, if you hear us now, go to your doctor and say, well, we need to get off these steroids. We need to find something else.
There's one more thing, Torsten, and here I also want to say thank you, to the whole UK team, to the Galen team, because CRUSE is a UK tool. And I have to say, I do not know any health app out there that is this successful, that is run by physicians, by researchers. And this is only possible because of this network of UCare. Because in every country where we launch CRUSE, we have a so-called CRUSE champion at a local UCare that helps with translating the app, bringing the app to the patients over there. And so this is so valuable and shows what we can do with UCare.
Actually, this is a good thing to mention it at this time. If you're a patient out there listening to us, if you're a doctor, maybe associated with the UCare, all this work is pro bono. We have to be grateful to all the doctors worldwide integrated in the UCare system. They devote their personal time to get better knowledge on urticaria, to get better help for our patients. And I can simply say I am overwhelmed myself. I myself devote my time as president for Galen as well, pro bono, because I want to make the world better for allergies and help our patients. But we need support. So just go on with that, doing that. And for patients, please appreciate all the work which is done to get your disease solved, your personal problems solved, and help you out there. Sophia, other things what we really need to tell people about CRUSE? Is there still development ongoing? Is there more countries coming? What are the news you can spill?
Yes, so we want to launch CRUSE to have it in every country where we actually have a UK center. And our next launch is coming up in North Macedonia, actually, where we have a UK center, and they were so motivated to also have CRUSE in their country. This is the next launch that is coming up next week, actually. And we are always improving CRUSE. So we ourselves are not developers, we are physicians, but we ask our patients what they like of CRUSE. We ask our colleagues, and we have a new results screen actually coming up that just looks nicer. And we also have a new report. The report is the information that the physician gets from the patient. If you send an email with the PROM scores, this also has a nicer look and also includes all the scoring of the PROMs, because I know we treat a lot of patients with urticaria, but not everyone does. And so not everyone knows the scorings of the patient reported outcome measures. So we included also this in the report. So we also always have a lot of changes coming up. We want to make it better and better for our patients. And we hope that we also can go with the time, because, we have a lot of advances in technology coming up. And I think something that would be also very interesting to do in the future to connect actually CRUSE to other technology, such as a smartwatch and wearables. So I think if we have this data connected to the app, this will be something very interesting in the future.
I could not agree more, especially the wearables. That will be so interesting in medicine. We already have smartwatches, not only looking at heartbeat, but also at blood sugar levels and blood pressure levels. Even that is possible with some of the smartwatches. For me, that's a fascinating new development. However, you just mentioned it's not available in all countries yet, but that is about languages. You can access CRUSE in English all over the world. So it's an app store, it's an Android store, it's free, you can download it, and it's not complicated English. So if you're a patient listening to us, we are pretty sure you understand English, otherwise you couldn't understand us. CRUSE is much easier to read in English than what we are saying right now. So don't hesitate. And otherwise, the physician sitting somewhere out in the country where we don't have the language, you can translate the few words of CRUSE we have on the internet. We have printouts of the different screens, and that can be translated. Is that correct, Sophia?
That's correct. Absolutely, Thorsten. Just reach out to us, to the CRUSE team, and we are very happy to do it together with you. If you also run a project with CRUSE, this is also possible. You just apply for this with the CRUSE team. You get a project ID that your patients can put into the CRUSE app, and at the end of your project, we'll provide you with the data in an anonymized form. So all of this is possible, and we're very happy to work together with as many people, as many colleagues and patients around the world.
That's a wonderful news as well, because that is really, really valuable if you have also in different sites small trials, small research projects. This is good to know that we have supporting tools, because in CRUSE, a lot of the so-called patient-reported outcomes are integrated in CRUSE, and then we can have it and really use the data for better research. Sophia, what else can we tell people about CRUSE? Some final messages, something which you really want to tell everybody.
Yes. I want to thank, first of all the patients using the app and also the team in Berlin. Very exciting is that we won the Digital Health Heroes Award last year for CRUSE. And this award is not only for the team, but it's also for the patients and other colleagues that are pushing the app everywhere. I have to mention one colleague. You cannot believe it, but actually Claudio from Argentina, one of our colleagues from a UK center, he brought CRUSE into national TV and talked about urticaria. And this is so important, not only because of CRUSE, but also because of awareness when it comes to urticaria.
Sophia, you are right. Because we still suffer, all of us suffer, our patients, the physicians, allergies in general are the most common chronic disease, the most common, and still they're being trivialized. Urticaria in special, it's a common disease. It's trivialized. People just say it's a bit of itch. No, our patients, they suffer. They cannot work correctly. They really have the problem of having all this really debilitating effects of the disease, and we need to create awareness. It's relevant, but the good news is for all kinds of allergies, we have so much progress in research. We have treatments, we have possibilities. Reach out to the nearest Galen Center of Reference and Excellence. Urticaria, UCare, atopic dermatitis, AdCare, food allergy anaphylaxis, AnaCare. Go to our website, you'll find some support. Sophia, I think was a shorter podcast, but it was very specific. It was very concise. And if we now find another 10,000 cruise users, then this podcast was a real success.
This sounds very good, Torsten. I'm sure we'll meet again when we maybe reach 30,000 cruise users. And thanks a lot for the invitation again.
And again, be assured, Sophia, this is definitely not the last invitation to you. And for those listening to us, we can just say this was a shorter episode, but it was fun talking about CRUSE. And please, if you're a patient, use it. Thank you for listening, and bye bye.